On today's episode of Undercover Boss, the chairman and CEO of Diamond Resorts International, one of the largest timeshare organizations in the world, goes undercover. By working on the front lines, the CEO will find out that things are not up to his standards.
If he had a heavy sander, he could have done that job in 10 minutes or less. And it took two guys 40 minutes.
And what will happen when he finally reaches his boiling point and blows his cover.
Sarah, look, babe, do you know who I am?
No.
You have no idea?
No.
This and much more exciting reveals on today's episode of Undercover Boss. With global headquarters in Las Vegas, Nevada, Diamond Resorts International is one of the largest timeshare companies in the world, with more than 200 resorts and 24 guest beds in 28 countries. Diamond Resorts International offers vacations to more than 385,000 customers, and at the head of this $500 million company is Chairman and CEO Stephen J. Klebeck. Stephen grew up in Encino, California. His family wasn't rich, but his father was a hard worker and installed that value into him. Stephen thought he wanted to become a doctor when he was a child, but when he realized he wouldn't get the amount of money he wanted from that job, he changed his mind and worked in a shopping center and managed to make himself millions. In 2006, there was a company named Santerra that was suffering financially, so he bought the company and renamed it to Diamond Resort and grew it to the giant that it is now. Stephen wants to go undercover because the company has been acquiring a lot of resort companies that have failed, and he's seen the problem that led to that, and he doesn't want this happening to his company. He'll be going undercover as Jack Fisher, a man pursuing his dream job in hospitality, and his employees will be told that he's on a reality show contest competing to win a prize to start his own business. For his first job, he travels to Sedona, Arizona to work as a hotel engineer. He meets up with Randy, who takes him to the roof to fix a broken AC machine, but Stephen is not so good with manual labor. Stephen can't even remember the last time he used a screwdriver, so he struggles and accidentally starts a small fire.
Hot though. Here we go. Watch out. We're okay. I got it. No, I got it. I was ready. Right on.
They then go inside to fix the light bulbs in the bathroom, and while working, he learns that Randy used to have an RV repair business, but it was very successful and he decided to sell it. But before he could get the full payment, the people that bought it filed for bankruptcy and weren't able to pay him the $240,000 that they promised. He was planning the money to be for his retirement, but now that he doesn't have that money, he had to go back to work as an electrician. The next day he travels to Miami, Florida to work in the call centers, and there he meets up with Sarah, who will be training him for the day. He listens in on the first call and sees that the customers didn't have enough points, but could have bought more, which she didn't even offer. He listens to another call which also didn't go well, and they lose another customer. Stephen starts to get frustrated as one of his employees was losing customers as she was messing up the dates. He notices that she's not been trained properly and can't use the system well, and he finally had enough and reveals his true identity to her.
My name is Steve Klebeck, Chairman and CEO of Diamond Resorts.
Hi.
You need a lot of training, honey.
He tells her that she didn't know how to use the system and tells her that he'll talk to the supervisor to figure out why she wasn't trained properly. He then meets with the manager Lori and yells at her for not training the employees properly and orders her to fix the situation and leaves the building. The next day he travels to Williamsburg, Virginia, and there he meets with Greg, who will be teaching him how to paint the walls. He then takes him to a home and they learn how to chalk up walls, and the dust almost chokes our CEO. He sees that the mask provided to the employees is not high quality.
Alright, yeah, this is feeling pretty good here. Because you don't want to get this in you.
And plans to fix that issue immediately. They then go to another building and start painting. For his last job, he travels to Scottsdale, Arizona to work as a receptionist. There he meets up with Amanda and she shows him where everything is and how to greet the customers. She then teaches him how to read the computer system to figure out available rooms, and she also teaches him how to have a good posture. He purposefully didn't have a good posture as there was a picture of him right next to their desk.
Walking in, my palms are sweaty.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They're all the people.
Because, for obvious reasons, my picture is at the front desk.
For the rest of the day, Stephen works with her on checking in and out of customers, and she reveals to him that when the rooms are overbooked, they are forced to lie to customers and tell them that there was a maintenance issue and send them to another location. Stephen's undercover time has finally come to an end, and throughout his journey he's seen great workers, but also been frustrated by others. And he's now invited all of his employees to his house to reveal his true identity. First in was Greg, and he tells him that he learned a lot from him and tells him that he'll upgrade his equipment so that he won't get health issues, and then offers to buy him a new brand car and gives him $20,000 as a bonus for his hard work. Next in was Sarah, and he apologizes for snapping at her and tells her that it wasn't really her problem, and also announces that he will personally see to it that she gets trained. He then gives her a fully paid vacation and gives her another $15,000 for her student loans. Next in was Amanda, and he tells her that she was doing a great job, and then he tells her that she can go work in Ireland as she likes to travel, and gives her $50,000 to support her and her family. Last in was Randy, and he tells him that he had the most fun with him and thanks him for his attitude. He then offers to pay the $150,000 mortgage bill that he had and gives him another $50,000 just for him. In the weeks since, Greg used his bonus to pay off his debts, Amanda has paid off her family medical bills and is looking forward to a new home, and Sarah graduated from college debt-free and is planning her vacation in Hawaii. Randy and his wife don't need to work 2 jobs as their mortgage is paid off, and usually our episode would wrap up here, but for the very first time in Undercover Boss history, a boss is going undercover twice. A year later, Steven is going back undercover and visits places he didn't before. He's learned and changed a lot from his last visit, but now he wants to go in his newly acquired Pacific Monarch resorts. This time, Steven will be going undercover as Mark, a former construction worker from California, and his employees again will be told that he's a contestant on a reality show. For his first day, he travels to Bryan Head, Utah, where he will be going undercover as a guest and learn about the service. He gets into his room and starts inspecting immediately, finding issues like old furniture and AC. He then goes to the bathroom and sees that it's not been cleaned well, and this was also the same case for the kitchen. He calls housekeeping and RK arrives shortly after, and he tells him about the sanitary problems that they have. RK tells him that they will fix all the issues as soon as possible, but the management aren't usually responsive to these kinds of issues. He even says that he wouldn't pay this much money to stay at that place. When RK comes back with the cleaning materials and towels, Steven reveals his true identity to him and tells him that he's a great worker and thanks him for telling him the issue with this resort.
You're on Undercover Boss. I'm Stephen J. Klubeck, Chairman and CEO of Diamond Resorts. I own this property.
He then offers to pay for his college tuition and gives him another $25,000 so he can raise his daughter, and he also tells him that he'll open a trust for his daughter that will reach about $50,000 by the time she gets to college. RK is overwhelmed with joy and they have a big hug. And the next day he travels to Palm Springs, California to work as an activities coordinator, and there he meets up with Monique. She teaches him how to dance, and Steven didn't even know how to dance at all, and she holds his hands and guides him. They then bring in the guests and she lets him lead the dance, and even though he couldn't lead well or dance, everybody has fun. The next day he goes to the other side of the resort to work as a maintenance technician, and there he meets up with Marcus, who takes him to the rooms and they check for anything that needs fixing. Marcus is very thorough and checks every little thing, which makes Steven very happy. Later they find a room with a broken faucet, and Marcus then gives him instructions on how to do it, and he decides to leave him to it. They then fix a bunch of electrical problems and end their day. Steven learns that Marcus wanted to open his own repair business, but he didn't have the capital, and he was also an ex-drug addict who cleaned himself up and now works heavy hours to brighten his future. For his last job, he travels to Los Cabos, Mexico to work in the Cabo Azul resort. There he meets up with the spa attendant Veronica, who takes him to the women's hair wash room and teaches him how to wash and dry women's hair. He was okay washing the customer's hair, but struggles with the comb and the blow dryer, and this really frustrates Veronica, so she steps in and finishes the job. Later he decides to work in the front desk and meets up with Stephanie and Carolina, who reveal to him that they keep customers' credit card numbers for authorization, and this really shocks him as it's illegal to do in his resort. But she tells him that she was ordered to do so by the management. This time, our boss keeps his cool and decides to deal with the issue later, but he encounters another issue when he finds out that they're not using the Diamond Resort system and are still using the previous system, which did not work at all. He then loses it when a customer doesn't get the proper discount and reveals his identity. He tells Stephanie and the other employees that it's not their fault and promises to fix this issue with the management.
This is not Stephanie's fault.
There's a massive communication breakdown here.
I'm sorry. Okay? I am so...
Steven's undercover time has now come to an end, and he invites his employees to the resort to reveal his true identity. First in was Monique. He tells her that she was lovely and energetic, and then offers to pay for her school, and also offers to pay her rent for 2 years. Next in was Marcus, and he asks him about his business plan, and Marcus tells him that he wants to have his own electrical business, and Steven reveals to him that he'll be investing $100,000 so he can start his own business. Next in was Veronica, and he thanks her for treating the customers very well and offers to pay for her daughter's medical bill and also gives her a brand new car and another 1.3 million pesos so she can buy a new home. After his undercover time came to an end, Steven gathers his employees for a town hall meeting and showcases his experience and promises $2 million for an employee crisis fund. In the weeks since, RK has moved to a new home with his daughter, and he's also able to go back to school full-time. Monique was accepted to fashion school and will soon be moving to LA. Marcus has left the company to start his new electrical business, and Veronica's daughter's surgery was a success and she's making full recovery in her family's new home. And that is it for today's special episode of Undercover Boss.